Okay, let's get started. I get so excited when I talk about these pillars of performance. First off, they're advanced training based on psychology, neuroscience, and high performance studies. Pretty cool stuff. But what's really exciting is this. If you follow them, you can 10x your performance personally and professionally. This means you can pull off being a great wife, mother, lover, and businesswoman without being totally exhausted. And we all know that's no small feat. But before I roll these out, I want you to know this training is different. So much of the training out there now is general stuff or is based on a man's world. These performance pillars are advanced training that really get down to the core issues of women. They provide powerful success strategies just for today's business professional woman, a woman who is trying to play so many roles at once. I don't have to tell you how tough that is, to be a peak performer and have balance at the same time. In fact, I bet it's a combo you didn't even think was possible. I used to think this too, but I now know it's absolutely possible. In fact, at the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how these 5 pillars can change your life forever. Now, I know this is a bold statement, but I've seen it happen, so why not for you? I'm going to talk pretty fast, so as I explain these to you, I want you to take notes. We all remember things better when we write them down. Below, you'll find a worksheet I've put together to help you. I'll also be asking some questions that will help you connect personally to each pillar. So take a minute and print it off now. It took me years and tons of money to identify these pillars of performance. Earlier, I mentioned that one day I came home from work and found my husband of 7 years gone. He left a goodbye note that said, "Annette, I don't love you anymore. I'm sorry, but I'm leaving." I was devastated. I couldn't understand how he could quit on a commitment. You just don't throw something valuable away, and he had basically thrown our marriage and me away. So there I was, alone, trying to figure out what to do to move forward. I wanted to be successful and powerful, to be confident, focused, and full of energy. But I also wanted time with family, to relax and enjoy all aspects of life. I guess it boiled down to the fact I wanted it all, at least as much of the all as I could get. But I had no idea how to make that happen. So I read books, I went to conferences, hired personal coaches, and talked to experts. And then I took what I learned and created the 5 pillars of performance. And I committed to following them daily. My ability to perform and to juggle life's demands began to soar. Success became easier. Relationships became deeper, and life overall became sweeter. And I want the same for you. So let me ask you this. Have you seen a woman become a high performer only to have her personal life in the toilet? Or have you seen a businesswoman struggle to choose between motherhood and her career because she couldn't do it all? Or have you seen a successful woman who looks exhausted and lacks joy in her eyes? Maybe you're even one of these. For me, this was not the kind of high-performance woman I wanted to be, and it's sure not the kind of high-performance individual I want you to be either. What I do want is for you to become a more focused and powerful woman who knows exactly what she needs to do to have success and balance in all areas of her life. And I'm so excited to share with you how it's done. Unfortunately, we're not going to have time to dig deep into each of these pillars. Heck, we'd be here for 3 days. But I do want you to understand the basic methodology that they represent and how they're interconnected. Also, at the end, I'm going to share with you one of my super secrets, something really simple I use to motivate others, and that you can use to motivate your employees, your coworkers, your husband, and your children. This is a secret you're going to love, so stay with me to the end of the video. Each pillar that we're going to talk about is very powerful in itself. But together they form a dynamic relationship. In other words, a change in one affects all the others. So keep this in mind as I explain the 5 pillars. The first pillar is physiology, the scientific understanding of how your physical body functions on various levels, and more importantly, how this affects your performance. Under this pillar are things like your diet, your hormones, sleep quality, and how you exercise. You get the idea. But let me be clear, I'm not talking about whether you're fat or skinny, whether you have pimples or perfect skin, or whether, like me, your hair is showing a little too much gray. What I am talking about here is your physical health. This pillar is focused on developing the understanding of the quick and simple things you can do daily to make your body physically strong and resilient. Now, you also need to understand the top 5 things you absolutely must make time for, because without a strong body and good health, there is no way to be or stay high performance. So to reach the next 4 pillars of performance, you have to start here, and you have to understand and embrace this first pillar of physiology. So on your downloaded worksheet, write down 3 areas where you know you need help on the physical front, and get specific. For example, do you overeat when you're bored or stressed? Or do your hormones go crazy during the month? Or do you wake up all hours of the night? Write down at least 3. Now, write down where you know you're kicking butt. For example, do you always take the stairs instead of the elevator? Take a second and think about this as well. The second pillar is perceptivity, the ability to understand and notice things easily or quickly. Think of this as the emotions pillar, because it deals with how you perceive and react to things and people, like how you read the emotions of others and respond to them, and how you recognize your own emotions and act appropriately to them. Under perceptivity, you'll find important topics like self-confidence, persuasion, optimism, and self-awareness. Perceptivity on the emotional side is so important when it comes to meeting your goals. For example, learning to replace the doubt and uncertainty you sometimes hear in your head with strong, unshakable confidence is one powerful way this pillar can make all the difference in your world. Another is learning how to emotionally connect with the men in your life and to your children so that they really hear you. The pillar of perceptivity connects deeply with the first pillar of physiology. When the physical body becomes strong, the ability to control your emotional side becomes crucial. If you think they're not connected, think again. Think about what happens when your emotions get out of whack, like when you find yourself eating again, even though you're not hungry. Or you find your belly hurting when you're under pressure to meet a deadline. So now I want you to do the same thing you did in Pillar 1. I want you to write down 3 areas where you feel you fall short in perceptivity. Perhaps you get frustrated because you can't get people to do their fair share of the work. Or you often doubt yourself because you hear the not good enough voice in your head. Whatever your top 3 areas of emotional concern are, write them down. Now, write down one area you know you're on top of it, where you are emotionally in control or are very self-aware. For example, perhaps you don't let fear stop you from taking on new projects. So take a second and write down the first one that comes to mind. The third pillar is psychology, the science of the mind and behavior. I love this pillar because it explains why you do and don't do certain things. Unlike perceptivity, which deals with your emotions, psychology deals with your thought patterns and behaviors. For example, ever wonder why it's so easy for your BFF to exercise, while for you it's torture? Or ever wonder why you can't seem to remember things like you used to? Or do you wonder if you could change either of these? The answer is absolutely. All the secrets to a strong mind and desired behavior are covered in the pillar of psychology. Answers on how to develop the mental toughness to deal with stress and how to laser focus when there are tons of distractions are just some of the pearls under this pillar. It is also here that you start to understand the science behind your behavior, the good, bad, and ugly. With a strong mind and the ability to manage your emotions under your belt, the pillar of psychology becomes the next step to being high performance. Let's stop for a second, do a self-check. On your worksheet, write down 3 behaviors that you wish you could change. Now be specific and honest. Maybe you drink too many sodas in a day, or maybe you don't say no often enough. It may hurt you to see your undesirable behaviors on paper. However, change begins with an honest assessment of your actions and taking responsibilities for those actions, both positive and negative. Now, write down 1 thing that you're so proud of. Maybe you have a superhero memory and never forget a birthday. Whatever it is, just write it down. The 4th pillar is perhaps the most important one, It's called purpose. It's the spiritual part of performance and provides the force for action in all dimensions of our lives. It fuels passion, perseverance, and commitment. Purpose entails understanding your values and how you can make a difference. We only become a true high-performance individual when we care deeply and when we feel that what we do really matters. Purpose is what lights us up. It floats our boats and feeds our souls. Ever wonder why you're doing what you do each day? Does it really matter? Do you really matter? Under this pillar, you come to understand how to clarify your purpose and how to understand the deeply held values that compel you to action. This knowledge is used to drive the changes and gain the long-term commitment required in pillars 1 through 3. So take a second and think about what really drives you. Write down your top 3 values. Mine are faith, authenticity, and health. But what are yours? Reflect on what drives you personally and professionally, even if you're not dedicating the time you'd like to your purpose. By identifying it, you can move closer to obtaining it. So write them down now. The last pillar pulls it all together, the pillar of productivity. It is here that you find the tools and techniques that are your keys to getting it all done while still being balanced. This pillar is not only about time management, but about managing your energy, prioritizing tasks, and controlling interruptions. It's about efficiency. It's about making changes that stick. We're all creatures of habit, and how productive we are is governed by our habits. To be a high performer, you need positive rituals to achieve goals and retain balance. In this last pillar, you get the tools and the techniques, basically the how. So let's see where you are on the productivity front. I'm going to give you a list of productivity potholes. Count how many apply to you. Here we go. Do you try to do several things at once? Do you answer the phone whenever someone calls? Do you check email several times a day? Do you skip breakfast on a regular basis? Do you blow off exercise because you've run out of time? If you answered yes to any of these, you're killing your productivity and thus your performance. You can fix these with the right tools and techniques. Now write down in your worksheet the 3 top issues that dominate your time and keep you from being productive. These 5 pillars of physiology, perceptivity, psychology, purpose, and productivity make up a powerful methodology like no other you've ever seen. Introducing you to these 5 pillars of performance, though, is only your first step. We've only scratched the surface of what these pillars can do to change your life. To help you further, I've created a series of training videos that teach you a few individual aspects of these pillars. Your next video will show you an easy-to-follow blueprint that will absolutely make your willpower more effective than you ever dreamed possible. And a third video will show you a really cool 5-step process that is so effective at convincing people to give you what you want. It may be the best secret to success I've ever found. All these videos are going to create immediate positive changes in your life. They're also to prepare you for an upcoming live event that I'm super excited about. It's called Bold and Balanced, and it's arguably the single most effective training you can get on how to reach high performance personally and professionally, and to do it without losing a sense of balance. This event will truly be the best advanced training for women in history that combines psychology, neuroscience, and high performance studies. It'll be a total game changer for you. Basically, what you're going to learn are logical strategies that have been scientifically proven time and time again, as well as the tools and techniques to integrate these strategies into your life easily. Plus, at this event, we're going to talk woman to woman about the never talked about topics that really get in the way of your performance. Things like how your hormones affect your focus, your energy, and sex life, and how taking care of and pleasing others may actually be hurting your loved ones and your career in the long run. So, if you're determined to be and stay a peak performer, yet want to also be balanced at the same time, then the Bold and Balanced live event is for you. It's not open for registration yet, but I'll let you know when it is if you want. At the end of this video, a little button will appear that you can click on to opt in for the early bird list. Now, the reason to do this is, one, you'll get special bonuses and discounts, and we all love those. And second, the seating is going to be limited. So if you want to 10x your ability to be ridiculously effective and efficient while staying balanced at the same time, I want to encourage you to attend this live event. Come out and join me. At the end of this video, do make sure you take time to opt in so you'll get first crack at registration before it opens to the general public. Before I leave you, I want you to look at the things you wrote down on your worksheet. You now know the areas where you need help, and you have the starting point of a plan for how to be a peak performer while maintaining balance. Bring this worksheet with you when you attend the live event. You'll get to define this plan in greater detail as we really dig deep into those 5 pillars of performance. Now, for my personal super secret I promise to share, here it is. Never say to your employees, your children, your husband, or anyone for that fact, the simple words, do your best. I know, we've all said it hundreds of times and we've heard it 100 times. But psychologists have proven without a doubt that this simple phrase does more harm than good. It doesn't motivate. In fact, it can actually lead someone to do less than what they might have done otherwise. So, what is the right thing to say if you want to motivate others? It's simple. Give them a goal, preferably a challenging one, with a specific measurable outcome and timeline for completion. For example, if you're working with an employee or your child on a goal, don't say, just do your best. Instead, give them specifics of what they should accomplish if you truly want them to do well. We'll dig into this deeper at the Bold and Balanced event, but for now, give this secret a try in your own life. Thanks so much for watching today's video. It's been a pleasure spending time together, and I had an absolute blast making this video for you. Before you leave, write down your comments below. I love reading and answering them personally. And of course, share this and future videos on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and any of those other places that gets the message out. Especially with other high-performance women who can benefit from these videos, as well as from the upcoming Bold and Balanced live event. We started this video at a waterfall. So I ask you again, what kind of waterfall are you going to be? One that converts your life energy into something really powerful that can change lives? Or will you choose to be mundane and average? Let me leave you with this thought. A strong woman builds her own world. Let me help you continue to be that kind of woman. I'm Annette Comer, your high performance coach. I'll see you in the next video.